Here we are in the Kroller-Muller Museum, which is about 1 hour from Amsterdam by car. And I'm just going to talk for a few minutes about a painting by Vincent van Gogh called the Cafe Terrace at Night in Arles. I'll try and remember actually and refer to him as Vincent, because even I have trouble pronouncing the name a bit. I always say Van Gogh. The Americans say Van Gogh, and the Dutch say Van Gogh, which I can't say. So I'll try to say Vincent. Anyway, he did go to Arles, and he began to be fascinated by artificial light of a little town at night. This particular picture, it's based on the idea of contrasting two colours, yellow and blue, giving the effect of this artificial light at night. And the centre of the light of the yellow area is a very thick blob of yellow paint, which when it was fresh must have been much stronger than it appears to us now. The brightest part of the picture is not the light in the middle, but the reflection of light in the window here, which is much brighter and lighter in tone than that. This is a cream, this is a yellow mixed with white. Underneath the bright light, he makes the tabletops are a marvelous pale emerald green. Now, the effect this emerald green has with the yellow is to neutralize the yellow colors he's using in there. I don't know whether the color TV camera can pick up all the yellows that are there, but there's quite a number. I'll tell you, there must be certainly 4 or 5 different yellows, and then 3 or 4 different green yellows. If you begin to half close your eyes, even from myself here, as he would when he's painting the picture, people tend to screw up their face like that to sometimes see clearly. The effect is, I think, stunning. It is real, and yet when you step back and you look at all that paint, it's luscious, delightful, marvelous, fresh, wonderful. It's fabulous, actually. He's using a quite ingenious perspective. He carries, for instance, lines that start here, come here, and it actually goes then all the way up the picture. You can see that the bottom half of it's based on a perfectly ordinary triangle, perfectly very symmetrical perspective, actually. All of it following, look, even the vertical here. It's quite clear, and then this one continues dividing up the picture. Do you see? It's quite symmetrical, making all the space in a quite conventional way, then shattered in a sense by this wonderful blobs of yellow that really keep breaking it all up. The figures catching the light, the way they're drawn in, and their movement is just suggested in the street, and the light catching them. It's very subtle. This is all helping to give the effect of the movement on the terrace, the weight. You can see how active it all looks. The people, as I described, the people walking away or the people sat at the table, all done with a few brush strokes. If you look closely, it's only 4 or 5 brush strokes a figure. It's marvelous. Actually, there's so many things echoed in. Do you see, like the stars And these are like stars. There's so many things all the time, echoing. Even here, which after all, he uses black. But if you can imagine the light on cobbles, of course you'd get the light falling and then shadows underneath. And he finds a marvelous graphic way to do this shadow without being fussy. And he just draws it with black lines. Wonderful method that you completely believe. It doesn't intrude as a graphic device that's not real. It all works as real. I think it's absolute marvelous, wonderful masterpiece, and very, very clever in the best sense of the word in painting. As to how long he took to paint the picture, there are one or two clues we can have. You will notice that they're in very good physical condition. There's very few cracks in these paintings, and after all, they're over 100 years old. The reason is that they were painted rapidly and in one go, as it were. The way oil paint might crack, just technically it happens, because if you paint on top, if you put wet oil paint on top of semi-dry oil paint, it means it's drying at different levels and different times, and then over the months, it takes oil paint a few months to dry, it's all going wrong, and then over the years you get little cracks. I think the paint he used was exactly the kind of paint you would get today. After all, his brother sent him boxes of oil paint in tubes. I don't know what brand it was, but I'm sure it was exactly the stuff you buy in the shop. I mean, he didn't have a studio full of assistants grinding it away. It was all done on his own with his little box of paints. This is, as I say, this is just speculation, but I would be pretty certain about it, really. I would have thought you would use kind of hog hair brushes, probably working vigorously. And I would have thought these are done even with worn brushes. Because if you work vigorously, brushes do not last very long. I would have thought, even doing the painting, it would wear out a few brushes, quite a few brushes. The other thing I should tell you about Van Gogh, I think that what is, I think, quite remarkable and has moved me more, is that probably for 8 years, the last 8 years of his life, we have more evidence of his existence than almost any human being of the 19th century. He made 800 paintings in 10 years. 800 paintings is 80 paintings a year. It's nearly 2 paintings a week, complete paintings a week. He made thousands of drawings, and then he wrote all those letters. So his 24 hours of each day are probably accounted for, all accounted for. He would get up early in the morning, he would go out to paint, he would come back, he would eat with a few friends in the cafe, clean his equipment, and write his letters. After he's done that, there's nothing left but to go to sleep. And so he'd probably just go to sleep, which means, I think that's quite rare. I think very, very few people can account for their experience in that way. It's very vivid. It's been left to us in a very vivid and generous way.